Zoo. So what that means is that any animal that we have selected to come out on stage here today is doing it by choice. They are the ones who are running the presentation. If for any reason our animal decides, you know what, I want to head back home, it's our job to listen to them. So in case that happens, I hope you guys understand and give me a thumbs up if you can give me perfect. Thank you so much for your understanding. And that'll ensure that our animals are also comfortable as they're here on the stage. Now this beautiful creature right here, yes, I was about to say that. This is Jamie. Hey, Jamie. Does anyone happen to know what kind of animal this is? No. You're raising your hand. Do you know what kind of animal this is? Anteater's a very good guess. Very good. That's the most common guess we get here. You're raising your hand over here as well? Aardvark. Give yourself a pat on the back because that is correct. That is an aardvark. Often mistaken for creatures like an anteater. They look very similar to one another, right? They have very similar physical attributes that we'll go over during the presentation today. Now, interestingly enough, aardvarks are actually not even related to anteaters. They're more closely related to animals like elephants, rock hyraxes, and manatees, and they are extremely distantly related to those animals. Now, when I say that, that's like me saying that technically a domesticated house cat is related to a walrus, because they are just very distantly related. So that gives you an idea of just how distantly related these aardvarks are to those particular animal species. Now, they look rather bizarre, and they are considered a living fossil species. They have not changed evolutionarily for over 20 million years. So this animal has had the same blueprint for over 20 million years. They're a good example of, if it works, you don't change it. They have done such a wonderful job living on our planet over the years. Now, this one in particular is Zola. She's our female. She is 9 years old. And Zola's special story here is she gave birth to the very first aardvark born here at the San Diego Zoo since the 1980s. So we're very, very proud of her. Now, in case you're wondering, where is the baby then, if that's the mom? Well, the baby's fully grown now. And the baby's actually sleeping behind this green wall in her burrowing den, happily sleeping away. But what that has provided us with is very important information on aardvark development, because if you yourself went online and looked up some facts about aardvarks, you probably won't really come up with much aside from the basic facts. And that's because we have collaborated with researchers who have gone their entire careers dedicating their lives to this species, and yet they've never actually seen one out in the field, in the wilderness. That is how difficult it is to actually find an aardvark out where they are living, which is the continent of Africa, more specifically sub-Saharan Africa. So if you're thinking about that map of Africa, you got that big Sahara Desert right on the top of that continent. Anything southbound of that is the range of an aardvark here. Now, when we take a look at Zola here, we're going to take a look at some of her physical attributions here. One of the things that stands out to me most are those long nails that she uses as she walks around the stage here. Now, my question for you folks is, what do you think Zola would use those nails for where she lives? How about you in the back over there? Oh, very good, to dig up the dirt for homes. Very good. Yes, aardvarks are known as a burrowing type species. And if you take a look at Zola's body here, you'll notice that she lacks a lot of body fat. She has really big scapula muscles, especially up here on her shoulders, which gives her that power to dig down into the ground here. And she creates a lot of burrowing tunnels every single day. She's a very simple animal to please. All she needs is a lot of dirt, and she's a happy camper. But they are considered very cool aardvarks, or very cool animals, because they have the capability of creating these elaborate tunneling systems underneath the ground. They're about 6 feet deep underneath, 43 feet wide, so that's about the size of a school bus. Now, my next question for you folks is, why would Zola want to be hanging out underneath the ground? What purpose does that serve for her? You again in the back, yeah. I love the way that you think. Yes, to stay safe from predators, right? That provides her a safe spot. So let's say that Zola's out in the field, and she's trying to find some food, and uh-oh, there's a hyena there. Well, she's got a good blueprint, a good mind of where her burrowing tunnel is located, which the hyena doesn't know. So what she can do is sprint away and head down into that burrowing tunnel, safe from that predator there, and it's very effective because this is exactly the reason why researchers can't really find these guys, is because they're underneath the ground in their burrowing tunnel systems, and they're constantly changing locations as well to trump these predators. So what these guys are doing is they're actually building housing for other animals as well. So things like pangolins, we got like snakes and little tiny foxes there. Is she stepping on your foot?
That's what was going on.
I kind of like to call them kind of like the Aardvarks of Africa, because they are creating homes for other animals as well. Now, what is a second reason an aardvark would want to live under the ground, aside from hiding from predators? Yes. To find food. We're going to tap on that in a second there. Hold on to that in your back pocket. Yes. Very nice. Yes, for temperature control. Very good. It gets very hot on the surface of Africa, right? So think about that for a second. It's nice and cool in that burrowing tunnel system, so that's a nice nifty spot for her to sleep throughout the day. But let's imagine that the sun is beginning to set, and she's been sleeping throughout her day, and she's starting to get a little bit hungry. Well, the first thing we're going to do when we're in Aardvark is we need to make sure that the coast is clear. Like I mentioned, there are so many predators out in Africa that might want to take an Aardvark out to lunch. Lions, hyenas, cheetahs, and maybe even a python might take a chance on an aardvark, right? So what physical features do you think Zola, on her face here, would she use to make sure that there's no predators around? What is she going to do? Yeah. What was that? Sniff. Did you say sniff? Very good. She's got a very long nose, right? That tells you that her sense of smell is probably very good if it's big, right? Very good. So she's got 10 nose vertebrae in there. That's double the size of a dog, to give you an idea of just how good that smeller is. If you notice, her eyeballs are really small in size. Her vision is very poor. So she's going to take a very big sniff of the air to make sure that there's no predators around, all right? And then what else is she going to use? What else stands out to you? Yes. Her big rabbit-like ears, right? So she's going to sit, listen, and smell, and then she can go out for the hunt, which you tapped in on a little bit earlier. Their primary food source is going to be termites. And termites build these big colonies that look kind of like this guy right here. Hello, Zola. She's like, I know what I'm going to do next. But they kind of look like these big pillar-like structures that jut out of the ground here. So that's what she's going to try to look for. Now, if you can imagine, here at the San Diego Zoo, we can't feed aardvarks termites on the daily, otherwise this whole thing would be destroyed, right? But what's on the menu today to replace that are live wriggly mealworms, and you can see that they're kind of wriggling around in there. Yeah, they gotta be alive. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this guy up right here. It's a good example or a good demonstration of what it might look like when an aardvark is on the hunt for their food here. Now, we've already pre-drilled the holes so that she doesn't have to dig down into the termite colony. But what we want to highlight is one of the most important hunting tools that she will use to get access to the worms there. So I'll give you folks a quick moment to observe really quietly what's happening on the other side of that wall there.
Yummy.
Oh my gosh. What is happening on the other side of that wall? What is she using? What is she using? Yeah. Her nose to smell, yes, and what else? Her tongue. She's got a very, very long tongue, huh? Now, in case you're having some trouble seeing what's going on the other side of that wall, no worries, because I have my own portable termite mound here to show you just how long that tongue is. So that aardvark is going to locate where the most activity is. You use her sniffer right there, and she's got these long nose hairs, very convenient, which she'll lay out on the wall there to feel the vibrations of where the most activity is, dig down, and then she uses this guy to get access, to the bugs on the other side there. Similar to the anteater, right? Very, very similar. Interesting. Now I'm going to do this a second time over here. When I do, you're going to see that I get to reload this, and the worms kind of stick to the side here. Her saliva is very viscous. Now I have the convenience of feeding her with a tube here, but notice that Jamie here does not. He has to hand feed her, so he's available for any high fives after the presentation.
I love
in case you're interested. No judgment here at all. But yeah, that sticky saliva really helps her out with collecting as many bugs as she possibly can, because on average, one Zola aardvark right here is going to be feeding on about 50,000 bugs every single day. So it would not be efficient if she would have to sit there and pick 50,000 bugs individually off the ground. She's got to collect as many bugs as she possibly can using that sticky saliva, and also keeping an ear on her surroundings while doing that as well. She's got to be very careful about those predators like we mentioned earlier. Now here at the San Diego Zoo, we do have a Savannah hub that is dedicated to conservation science in Africa right now, and Zola is our representative of that Savannah hub. So just by being here at the San Diego Zoo today, you are helping us out with that very important conservation work, and aardvarks are on that list for conservation as well. So we'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out and visiting us here today at the San Diego Zoo. Now, as a special thank you, Jamie and I have decided that we would like to invite one person up here to help us with something. Is there any volunteers out there? Your hand shot up really fast. So you in the red hats, you get to help us out here. Meet me at the side of the stage over here. If there's someone with a camera, I recommend you get that out. Perfection. All right. What's your name? Delana, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for volunteering. You love animals? Well, that's great, because Jamie and I love animals too. Perfect. Now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna let you in. When I do, you're gonna stand right here, okay? Wait for further instruction. Do you know what you just volunteered for? Perfect. We were wondering if it would be okay if we had our very own aardvark bug eating contest today. You've never eaten bugs before. Oh, but it's cool. Oh, we're open to it. Okay, well, I got your own tongue tube here. So you don't have to handle the worms, but how long is your tongue? Show me how long your tongue is. Okay, I gotta refill this with more worms, yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna quite meet the bottom there. How about you just shoot these back, like that? You know, that's all you gotta do. I'm just kidding, I'm joking. But I love the attitude. You're a very good sport. I'm just joking with you. What you're gonna get a chance to do is you're gonna be able to touch and feed her. Does that sound a little better? Yeah, I think that sounds a little bit better. Now what's gonna happen is Zola's gonna walk up here. She's gonna put her 2 front feet right here, nice and convenient for you, okay? So your job is to feed her. She is a little bit of a tough eater though, okay? So make sure you firmly grasp this and put it right about there. Cool. And then with your other hand, you're welcome to reach out and give her a touch on her shoulder, okay? And make sure you smile for your friend. Awesome. Perfect. I think she's ready. Excellent. Go ahead and pet her. Ooh, professional feeder right there. Inquiring minds want to know, what does she feel like? You can go ahead and give her another touch if you want. Whoa, she feels very rough but soft at the same time. Yeah. The other day I got, they kind of feel like a kiwi fruit. Would you say that is about the same description-wise? Or a coconut is another good description? Ooh, if a coconut had a softness to it. Yeah, that's a very good description. Yeah, the other day I got when I don't shave my legs for a few days. That was rather bizarre. Now, before you leave, I do have a quick gift for you, because it takes guts to volunteer and be on the stage today. So that's your very own customized Africa Rock sticker for volunteering and being a great volunteer. Everyone give her a round of applause. She deserves it. Very good. Thank you so much for coming out and feeding Zola here today. Awesome. Now Zola here, again, is here by choice, and she has full control of this presentation, so she can come and go whenever she wants. But while we have her out here, does anyone have any questions for me about aardvarks, or have I covered all of the facts for you? Any questions? Questions? Do you have a question? One more time, do aardvarks have any weakness to them? Ooh, that's a good question. Jamie says no. But I can also say that one of the challenges that we've kind of run into with aardvarks in particular is dental care, actually. They do have teeth. Their scientific name is tubular dentata because their teeth and their molars are kind of made in a way where it kind of looks like a bunch of straws that are bunched down together. Does that make sense? And that's what their molars look like. And they only have 4, and they're placed way, way back underneath where their eyes are. And they only open their mouth that much. So you can only imagine our dentists' delight when they see an aardvark come in for their annual checkup. So it's very difficult to clean the teeth of an aardvark. Very good question. Any other questions I can answer at all about aardvarks? All right, well, folks, I will be available on stage to chat with you guys if you'd like to come up and meet me. I'd love to meet you and know where you're from. Other than that, I got a lot of cleaning to do on the stage. Have a great rest of your day here at the San Diego Zoo. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. There we go.